All right, everybody, welcome back to Beans No Ball. It took us quite a little hiatus, but we're back, and for what better reason than Jerry finally waking up? Christian, the Cowboys have made a deal. They're getting George Pickens, someone that you obviously got your own personal history with. So let's just get started. I got to hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, so I mean, literally just yesterday, Wednesday morning, obviously probably the best days I've woken up to in the Cowboys, with the Cowboys. And honestly, we finally filled up our receiver two spot. That's the one thing in the receiving end that we really need, was another weapon aside with CeeDee Lamb. Sure, we got Brandon Cooks, but it was really disappointing to see how we didn't really utilize him the way he really needed to be. I mean, we got him for what I think was a really late round pick. Him being very consistent, getting those 1,000 yards for the past couple of seasons, being shopped around there, and they just really weren't utilizing Brandon Cooks to what they really wanted to be. I mean, 2 seasons ago, he started off like really slow, and then he's finally getting the ball there, and it starts to show what a viable weapon he is. Last season, he had the injury with his knee, with the fluid, and just really wasn't a big hope for that. So really wasn't expected for Brandon Cooks to stay there. Now we're bringing in Pickens, now to fill the receiver two spot. I mean, really, we have CeeDee at the receiver one, and then we have George Pickens at 1B. We have really two receiver ones on this team that's really going to be side by side with CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
Now he's with the Cowboys. Actually right now, they're currently, while we record this, they're having the press conference with them on, I think, on a Zoom call there. So too. So from what I've been reading, everything's going well with the interview with George Pickens. He wants to be in Dallas, giving some praise to
I
CeeDee
think
Lamb. So
one thing
maybe.
too that I will say, and I know this is like the first thing that I told you, he's obviously going to want a contract. Now, obviously, he's not looking for a contract for
Yeah,
this
he's
offseason.
gonna
He's
play.
not looking
He's
for
gonna
an
play out
extension.
this. He's gonna play out this season to prove that he's a top
But
receiver
the
for
one
an
thing that I
extension
could
at the
say,
offseason.
you didn't give up any capital. Obviously, we didn't even get
Exactly.
into that. A third round pick and a late round pick swap. I
Late round
think
picks.
that's
Yep.
fine because look, if he ends up walking, then that's going to be okay for you guys. You didn't give up anything that crazy. I think the biggest thing that we really have to talk about is what the Steelers are feeling right now. I mean, sure, you brought in DK. You thought that was going to be the solid duo for whoever ended up coming in at quarterback, which is likely going to be Aaron Rodgers. We'll see. We'll see what kind of thing that ended up being, because obviously we saw he was working out with DK. We never saw him working out with Pickens. So is there something that we're gonna have to read into there, that he didn't really want Pickens and he was one of the reasons that they're shipping Pickens out? But
I mean, Tomlin was the reason.
Tomlin was
Why
which,
Pickens was shipped. So that was one of the.
I mean, there's
That
so
was
many
one of the
things that
earliest things
if
set out.
George
Tomlin
has
was
something to do with it.
Tomlin was the reason. He was the main focus on them pushing the Pickens trade, right? But
Which makes
for
no
really
sense
just
to me.
yeah, for only giving up a third and a late round pick swap, this is honestly, it's a win-win. It's a win-win regardless for the Cowboys, because
For the
regardless or
Cowboys.
not, regardless or not, if Pickens ends up walking in free agency, we're getting a compensatory third round pick. So we're just
Which is
getting back.
which is the craziest thing to me about
Yeah.
that. I mean, I understand, if you want Pickens off your team, I guess, whatever, but you were gonna get a third round comp pick if he walked anyway. So why are you
Yeah.
making this deal? I mean, at the very least, I would have expected it to have been a second round pick. But I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, that's not what ended up happening. You guys ended up getting for that. Pretty much, you lost the third round pick, but you're probably gonna get that back anyway, like you said. But I mean, all in all, I mean, I like the fit. Don't get me wrong. It's just we'll see how Pickens is gonna fare, because he was already the number one in Pittsburgh and had his own little issues. Now I mean, you say 1A, 1B. I mean, let's be honest, CD is the one. He is going to be flat out the two. So how's he going to feel that he's not going to get those targets? Because we were talking about how's he going to feel having to share targets with DK. It's the same situation, even worse off. So now being with CD Lamb. So, I mean, obviously, we already know the repertoire that he has with Dak. So, I mean, I think this could be something that becomes an issue down the line for your sake and for the Cowboys' sake. I hope it's not, but hey, you finally got that big wide receiver too. That's the most important thing here.
Yeah, and honestly, look, a lot of people were mentioning the behavioral concerns that Pickens has, on the field, and that's the thing. But that's the one thing with Pickens. I'll say that's kind of the misconception with Pickens. Sure, he has behavioral issues, but it's just on the field. Off the field, we never hear it. It's on the field with him getting, having his temper tantrum. He's in
But
Dallas. I'm sure hoping
football
just the team
wise, I
around
mean,
him.
sure, we always hate when the players are bad people. That's obviously its own issue, but I mean, on the field, that's a detriment to you winning games. And I know,
Exactly.
they're two very different things, but if we're talking just football right now, he could become a headache, and we'll see. I mean, like I said, let's hope that doesn't come to pass. But I mean, that's one thing that you do have to keep into consideration.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Steelers curse to Pickens to the Cowboys really breaks, because we see when a star player from the Steelers depart, we saw Le'Veon Bell, Martavius Bryant, we saw Chase Claypool, we saw
AB, let's
Deontay
not
Johnson,
forget that.
AB. I mean, God knows what the hell he's doing right now, but I'm really
Juju,
hoping
damn.
this. Yeah, I mean Juju too. I'm really hoping with George. I'm hoping this is where the curse breaks, that he actually finds a fit in Dallas. Now, if he ends up being a very top player in Dallas and he's a big priority to that offense, him with along with CeeDee Lamb, then moving into the next season with the contract issues, you still gotta sign Micah. And then if George ends up having a great season, he's gonna want at least 30 million. So let's get that. He's gonna want at least 30 million. 28 is where I would call the minimum, but 30 million is probably what George Pickens is gonna want to ask if he ends up having a really top season with Dallas. Because look, hey, he's got Dak at quarterback now. I would say a big step up from what the quarterbacks he's had from his time in Pittsburgh. Really great step up at the quarterback position there too. So that could be aside for another video, but that's really just gonna be now at Jerry's discretion whether or not he's going to sign both Micah and Pickens, which it's probably not going to happen there too, but we're going to see in the long run there too. But as I mentioned, my love-hate relationship with Pickens was mostly on the fantasy side in there too, but now that he's on the Cowboys, obviously really love the fit there. This receiving core with him and CD, two are going to be a great duo coming into this season.
Yeah, exactly. My thing there too. I mean, you see that specifically. I mean, this has to be an all-in year for Dallas if you really look at it. Considering you finally
it's been all in for. I don't know.
And look,
I
know we hear that. We hear that every year.
Yeah.
That's what Jerry said last year when he completely spent nothing in free agency. Now this one, I mean, let's be honest. You finally went in on that wide receiver too. Like we've been talking about for the longest time. That defense has looked stacked. I mean, we saw them grow last season, and we saw them. What the pieces that they're picking up this offseason. I mean, the draft went very well defensively. Like we said,
a lot. They fill up
and which also we didn't get into that yet. So maybe we'll get into those picks for both of our teams in a later video as well. But look, I mean, that defense looks stacked. It's been stacked, and we can get into all that in a bit. But I mean, offensively was your one issue, and my only thing, you get a running back, and this really is an all-in year for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll see if that actually becomes it. I would definitely, I mean, sure, maybe you actually have a piece that breaks out this season, but maybe you make a deal before the deadline. Maybe you still have some type of deal to be made throughout the offseason, but this has to be all in because once I really doubt you're retaining Pickens at the end of the season. He's probably going to walk. I don't see Jerry paying both of them. The priority is probably going to be Micah. So this has, I'm just repeating it, but you had to go all in this season. I mean, even if it's a fuck them picks type deal like what Leslie did to get the Rams a Super Bowl, this definitely is going to be one of those last opportunities overall. But let's see if Jerry got it in him. He likes loosening it up. I mean, he obviously we do kind of know it might be Steven that kind of holds him back at times from making really pulling the trigger, but he loves pulling the trigger, and we'll see if he actually gets that opportunity to.
Yep, I'm just gonna hope for the best once again for this season there too. Now the all the things with the receiver position, we finally got what it is. CD, George Pickens, and then Turpin. Probably going to be Turpin at the 3 if not Tolbert. But, we're going to see how that plays out. Obviously, training camp is going to be one of the crucial parts of that to see where the roles fit in. Just like the running back position, when we got Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams in the offseason, and then drafting Jalen Blue from Texas. So that's going to be a really, really nice battle for the running back coming into this season there. I'm going to have a lot of high hopes for Jalen Blue. So that offense, really, everything's set. And obviously the O-line could get more into that too.
Absolutely.
And the young guys there too. But
obviously,
as of right now,
one thing I will say, in that draft, I mean, sure, maybe it was a reach, considering with Tyler Booker. But, I mean, look, if that's the guy that's going to end up being the new anchor for your O-line, that's another thing that, it's just going to work out wonders for such a struggling offense. Obviously, what did we say? Zach Martin leaving, that's leaving a gaping hole. And obviously, I think that's going to do it for this one specifically. Obviously, I mean, hey, we struggled mightily to get this one. Now our camera quality, obviously not the best right now. And we just had struggles with Zoom, but getting it out. It took us a minute to get another video out, and we're finally getting it. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you like and subscribe, and be back for hopefully a little more consistency for these videos.